Okay, so I've started vacuuming, you can see. In a couple of hours, this will be all clear. So the hose connects to the vacuum, and then the vacuum connects into the skimmer. And you run it on filter as per normal. Okay. So backwashing now. You can see the sight glass. And the whole point of that is to see when the water is clear, then you know you're backwashed enough. So again, that's the backwash setting there. And it's going to the street right now. So it looks like it's starting to clear up. I'm going to stop the backwash right now, and then I'm going to keep vacuuming a little bit more. So when you're vacuuming the pool, have the three-way valve set so that the main drain is off. That way you get the most suction out of the skimmer. And then every once in a while when you're vacuuming, especially when you're opening the pool, you got to empty this basket out every once in a while because it gets filled. You see that? So every couple of vacuums, just make sure this is empty. So I'll empty that out. And I put the lid back on. So remember, everything is hand tighten, right? Nothing too tight. Just hand tighten it. So I cleaned out that basket, and then I'm going to come back to the pump. And I'm just going to hit the resume button, which will fire it up again. There you go. And now I'll go back to vacuuming some more. So this is the hard part about opening the pool. It's just a lot of cleaning. So I just get myself a little pad like this, and I go around and I do all the, so there's no water line around the liner. So I just literally do this all the way around the pool. Anything that's white. So it's a good job for your boys, which I guess is why I'm doing it. My boys wouldn't do this, but anyways, you go all the way around in the stairs and it gets everything looking nice. So I'm doing that as the water is lowering. I'm lowering the water, so I'll show you where I stop. Okay, I vacuumed out the pool and I haven't even put any chemicals into it, and it's looking pretty good. Nice and blue. Skimmed off all the debris off the top. So now I'm ready for chemicals, so I will show you. Okay, so we're gonna put the chlorine in. So just make sure that you're in the deep end, near where the jet is. So this is where we'll dump in the chlorine, and make sure the pool filter is on, it's running, and so that the water coming out of the jet will disperse the chlorine, because you don't want the chlorine concentrated at any one end of the pool. Okay, so it's literally just tipping the chlorine and pouring it in slowly. And make sure you don't splash and get it on yourself, right? Then you're gonna rip your clothes. So I do the whole jug for opening, 20 liters. Seems like a lot, but that's what's really gonna disinfect the water, and it'll get this really looking crystal clear. Okay, so do the whole thing. Okay, so now we'll do the salt. So same thing, in the deep end, you go about where the jet is, and then you just literally just dump the bag in. So I'll try to do this in one hand here. Okay, so for opening, it's 2 bags of salt. That's generally what you'll need. Dump the whole bag in. And then maybe for the second bag, what I do is I kind of walk around the pool a little bit to disperse it, just so it's just not all sitting in the deep end, because it does take a little bit for it to dissolve. Okay, you gotta buy salt that's for the pool. You don't use water softener salt. You need the fine stuff. It's even finer than table salt. Okay, just dump all that in. That's it. All right, back at the salt generator. So I've put the bags of salt in, and you can already see that now it's indicated as on, and there's no warning lights. Because remember before it said check salt or temperature? So I've added the salt, so now this thing is actually working. It's generating chlorine from the salt because we got the right amount of salt in the water. This is the cell that generates the chlorine. Okay, so just thought I'd let you see that. And again, the output button is here, and I usually keep it either 2 or 3. I don't ever keep it at 4, but that's where I would keep it. And this is the on-off button, so if you want to turn it off and on, I generally don't use that at all. Okay? And this one over here is the flow meter. So this is the one that detects if there's actual flow, so the pump is on. Okay, because this only works obviously if the flow is on, if there's water going through it. Okay, you'll see this is the flow indicator. If this is red, that means something is obstructing the flow. This is the salt, meaning that if the salt is too low, this will light up. Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's just a couple of buttons, on, off, and your levels. Okay, and then this is your flow meter. That's your cell. Okay, so now at the heater, this is the pilot, or this is the valve here. So you have to light the pilot. So you turn it to pilot, you push it down, and then simultaneously you hit this button, and then it ignites the pilot. I'll try to show you that the pilot is on. I don't know if you'll be able to see that it's on. You can definitely hear it. But anyways, the pilot is in this area here. So if you kind of go directly below where the red button is, and you'll see inside there the pilot, but you can hear it hissing, and I can see that it's on. I just don't know if the camera's picking it up. So that's how you turn the pilot on. The main valve for the gas is back here. So that's on. If it was perpendicular, it would be off, so I'd turn that on. So I just turned the pilot on, okay? So first step was that. And then I came and put the pilot on. So the pilot's going, now I'm gonna turn this to on. So now the heater is on, ready for operation. So as I mentioned, the heater is a little bit finicky when it comes to firing sometimes. Just because, again, it's a millivolt ignition. It's not hooked up to any hydro at all. The charge for the ignition is actually from the pilot light, so any little bit of dust, or if it gets a little bit dirty on the connections, it could sometimes get problematic for it to fire. So I use this electric contact cleaner and an old toothbrush, and I literally just kind of run it around and just make sure the contacts are all clean, even up here, and then it helps to fire it up. I'll show you that. So the coolant heater's on right now. You can hear it coming. There's the light switch that I was telling you about. So everything seems to be working fine. You can feel the heat coming off it already. So that's how you turn it on and off right there. I'm going to leave it on for now. Okay? And sometimes, like I said, these connections just need to be cleaned a little bit. And it'll help with firing it up. But you can clearly hear it coming. I'll turn it off so you can hear the difference. When I turn it off, there we go, it turned off. Okay, so I'll put the cover back on and we'll let the heater go. And I'll probably let it go for a couple of days straight just to get the water temperature up. There it goes again. I just turned the switch back on. Fire it back up again. Sometimes you have to wait 12 seconds, 15 seconds when you hit that switch. seconds and you'll hear it fire up. So I'll put the cover back on. And away we go with the heater. Okay, so here's the timer. I don't know if you can see it. But I'm going to set this up. So I'm going to hit the menu button. And it says configuration menu locked. So hit menu again. And then it reads timers menu. Enter. Press this button here to enter. So I'm going to modify this timer. You can see here it starts at 10:30 in the morning, and then it goes to 5 p.m. 7 days a week. I'm going to modify that. I'm going to modify timer 1. Sorry, I'm going to get back to timer 1. So I'm going to hit plus to modify this one. I'm not going to change the name of it. I'm not going to change the speed. I'll let it start at 10:30 in the morning, that's okay. I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. Instead of 5 o'clock, maybe we'll go, let's see, like 9. That one, 7 days a week. So it's going from 10:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. So I'll leave it at that for the next little while. And that should be good. But anyways, the manual will let you go in and set up all these different, you have different options here. We'll just leave it as set for, I'm just going to use the one timer here. Okay? The last thing that I forgot to show you is the stabilizer. So this stuff here. So this stabilizes the chlorine, right? Because the chlorine that's in there right now is free chlorine, not stabilized. So like I said, it burns off from the sun. So this stuff helps stabilize the chlorine that the saltwater generator, chlorine generator produces, and then the chlorine has a better chance of doing its job, which is disinfecting the pool. So you can see it's a little bit coarser, and these take a little bit longer to dissolve, so they don't just dissolve right away. So I sprinkle a little bit in at a time, right into the skimmer. I know some people say you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't add chemicals right to the skimmer. But this is not really a harsh chemical. I'm not putting all that much in at a time. So it'll work its way through the system and dissolve. But again, the goal is that it's going to stabilize the chlorine, the free chlorine that's in the water. So over the course of the next couple of days or so, I'll empty this whole bucket in. I'll use it all up. So that's about it for now. I'll put some more in probably tomorrow.